Convergent Pokémon is the best thing we got in Scarlet and Violet, even more than paradoxes. And if you disagree, you're just wrong. I'm kidding, you just don't have parental love. Just kidding, just kidding. But I can prove my point in this video, exploring the concept of convergent to its limit, including a new category of convergent, mimicry Pokémon. I particularly love the idea of making new Pokémon that resemble the shape of the original Pokémon, but they are completely different creatures with unique inspirations. But today, we're doing something different. We're making ridiculous convergent Pokémon ideas. Let's embrace the goofy. To start off strong, let me show you this idea. What if Dog Trio were ducks instead? I think Diglett's design fits this concept really well, since its simple shapes allow for plenty of creative ideas and adaptations. In this case, I totally can see Diglett as a rubber duck or something. But here, I went further. Since we're working with Dog Trio instead, the leader becomes the mama duck, and the Diglets are the ducklings, but rubber duck shaped to keep things friendly. A fun fact I thought is that they can make the classic rubber duck squeak when you squeeze them. And ta-da! Here is our duck trio. Yeah, it is our normal type to avoid having the same type as Wiglet. Yeah, baby, I thought it will be ridiculous, or at least goofy. The name origin is pretty obvious, but I couldn't resist to changing one letter to completely flip the meaning. And you might wonder, how the duck are the water waves under them all the time? My answer is simple. The same reason it happens with Duck Trio. Oh, and the shiny version is bright blue, because I think it's cute. That's all. But Faye, if Duck Trio was Diglett, does this mean Duck Trio was Diglett? Well, that's funny. You're the worst. Next idea. Okay, jokes aside, I said we in the intro because I will make some of your ideas that I requested in community post. By the way, thank you so much for sending tons of ideas. Obviously, I can't make all of them, but I chose some good ones, trust me. One of them is this idea I've never seen someone doing this before. What if Weimer were a dog? But the things are actually flappy ears. 3 words. Genius. Anyway, I started by sketching Weimer's usual simple shape. That's typically how I begin making conversions. Then I make major changes later. You can still see Weimer there, but the cute little paws, suggested by a subscriber by the way, give it a silly vibe that enhances it even more. I imagined walking like one of those dogs with short legs. Super cute. Except for the uncanny teeth. Holy shitos. Don't you worry though, I fixed that in the final design. So by the way, I named it Wowmer. Why, you ask? Well, because wow is a reference to "ow wow," the sound the dog makes in Brazil. Not saying dogs actually bark different in Brazil, it's just the onomatopoeia we use here. Anyway, Wowmer is normal fairy type because of its bright colors, which match with the new style of being used in my previous video. The shiny version could be pale pink and blue, to resemble Steven Universe Dream Whale, and Wowmer says, trans rights. I bet somewhere those will get so mad they will put their pants over their heads just because of this fact, but I don't care. What if we had mimicry in Pokemon games? It is not exactly mimicry, it's like mimicry in real life. I guess it will be clear when I show some examples. Okay, this one will explain a lot, this concept. Do you know the pale owl butterfly? Those butterflies that have a pattern similar to an owl. So, I decided to adopt into a fakemon that mimics a noctowl. Take a look in the design, a cute prankster moth with wings similar to noctowl patterns. I named it Mocatowl, Mock and Noctowl, a buddy psychic type, and that's its cry. See? It mimics even Noctowl's cry, but just to be clear, like in real life, this mimicry isn't intentional. It just was selected by nature, though there are similar to Noctowl's, since it's a psychic type that is weak to bug. So, making flying types would scare Mocatowl predators. A clever touch, isn't it? But you might be thinking, but Fred, this isn't also similar to Noctowl. Yeah, I agree, but look at the backs. And what if we flip it vertically? Okay, now it's more singular, huh? And because of this, Mukatao usually sleeps upside down, like bats. It's shiny similar to the original Noctowl. What do you think of this trickster? The next one is inspired by this suggestion, a scorpion that mimics a snake. So I adapted a little bit. As you can see, I tried to make a scorpion that isn't poisonous, but still inspired by echoes. So it could be more menacing. I call it fakons, fake heckons. And despite its looking, it is dark ground type. It buries itself on the ground, just showing the tail similar to echoes. And since it mimics a poison type, grass, fairy, fighting, and bug Pokemon, types that would be super effective on it wouldn't like to face fakons, since they would be weak or get perfectly damaged by its poison type. But nah, fakons is not poisonous at all, its stings just hurt. And the shiny, of course, is green like the original, very simple. Now imagine a crab that mimics Hydreigon. Like this Membo idea. Actually, I adapted a little bit. It mimics another dry-headed Pokemon, Magnezone. Okay, so I tried to make a simple crab with a shape similar to Magnezone, with the claws being the Magnezone side eyes. Note how sad it looks, so helpless. Thankfully, our little boy Crabnezone mimics very well. It is a bug water type, and if you are observant, you can realize it is weak to flying and rock. So, mimicking an electric steel type that not only is super effective to them, but also resists too. It could make the predators of this helpless guy go away. But if you ever wonder, its original colors 100 years ago are like this. Nothing similar to Ozone, but a very risky looking far but fragile and weak Pokemon. But natural selection of the pale ones made it work. Oh, and the shiny is like the original as well. What do you think? The next one is a Chandelure Mimic. Actually, a Pokemon that mimics Chandelure but upside down. I don't know if you agree, but I think if you see Chandelure upside down, it looks like a spider. So, why not? It was exactly what I made, a spider Chandelure that has webs instead of flames, with the middle body full of webs instead of flames too. I assume they had inspired by executioners. Used to be a little dark. But okay. Here is Chandelure, a combination of Sham and Chandelure. Of course, it is buggy dark type, which has a good protection against fairies and fire types, since no fire type would ever hit a Pokemon with flash fire like Chandelure. It's funny how dark types would have a bad surprise when they realize that it is a bug that hits super effectively. And fun fact, these are not the eyes, these are just cheeks. The eyes are actually right here. I know it's hard, but it's like just making face like that. To be honest, I think I did this one too similar to Chandelure, so I'm not a big fan of my work. But the shiny looks a beach color, maybe. What about you? Next one is a suggestion from a subscriber who requested a literal stick insect Sudowoodo. Well, it's perfectly fair since stick insects mimics branches and Sudowoodo is supposed to be a tree, so makes sense. And fun fact, I made a stick insect Sudowoodo a long time ago. But since it's too old and poorly made, to be honest, I decided to remake something better. Okay, I made a little sus shape, but I'm trying to find a dynamic, cool pose to enhance the aspect, since otherwise it will be too mediocre design. After all, I think I found a good pose without looking the other type of stick, if you know what I mean. It is very segmented and have a grumpy looking, to don't look like a Sudowoodo variant. This one is completely different Pokemon, not even convergent, named Twigglewoodo, Twig and Sudowoodo. Note how now it looks more intimidating, to be even more different than Orija. It is a terrible bug grass type, but thankfully, it resembles a rock-type Pokemon. Just a reminder that Sudowoodo isn't a grass type, so bug, fire, and flying type Pokemon that would be super strong against it. We need to think twice before getting near to don't get a super effective move by Sudowoodo, but it's not a Sudowoodo. It's shiny as expected, is golden or red like the original. Did you like it this remake or actually key work of my old fakemon? So far, I said defensive mimicry, right? But now, let me talk about other types of mimicry. There are plants that mimic some insects to protect against predators or attract pollinators. But my idea was to make a Victory Bell variant that mimics a caterpie to attract their prey. Look how it boobs looks like a caterpie face in a little tail tube. And I will show another detail later. Here is Mimicry Bell. You might be wondering why a grass-type Pokemon would like to attract caterpie predators like flying-type Pokemon. Maybe you realize that a fake caterpie has holes that fits perfectly with its teeth that looks like an outlet plug. So yeah, it is an grass-electric Pokemon, and that's how it hunts. Maybe you're a Pidgeotto that sees a huge caterpie. So you might be thinking, then you approach fast, and before you realize, Mimicry Bell closes its mouth with the bullet plug, and now you're trapped inside. And yeah, inside you can expect a lot of electric discharge until Mimicry Bell knocks you out. Creepy, right? And since Victory Bell can eat wild games, it can eat birds as well. And the shiny is like shiny caterpie. Here's some details for shiny Victory Bell too. Did you like it?
But silly. Fine, what's the goods? Ooh, say that it sounds lovely. Me want it. How are you, Mr. Toad? Did you wait our mosquitoes today? You're so funny, Mr. Toad. They call me Angel Face. Some people say space is lonely, but that's because they don't know me. Oh no, yeah. Hey, don't be sad, you silly. Ooh, this is impressive. Thanks. Oh, and before a honorable mention to my penguin Diglett inside the glue. Obviously, inspired by Pingu, the mighty Diglett. I think it won't be so hard, so I had to scrap it. Another Diglett variant idea was simple but interesting, I guess. What if you were a giraffe instead? So a super long Diglett would fit very well. And to fit even more, I will name it Biglet. Its evolution should be Bug Trio by the pattern. So with this in mind, I decided to be literal and make a giraffe with some bug traits to match the evolution name. I wouldn't make the evolution today, but if I do, I need to be prepared. So basically that's it. A giraffe going out from the bush and say hi to Biglet. Bug grass type. It is one of those simple designs that are just literal. So yeah, a possible reaction to it would be just like Patrick's reaction.
It's a giraffe!
The fact to mention that it's shiny is just more orange. Well, I think I don't have much to say about it, so do you love or hate?
Let's start with literal Cucumber Pyukumuku. It was an idea from a subscriber that was so simple and goofy, I just had to try it. For my design, I kept the original shape since it was a convergent, but I wondered, what can I do to make it different and more interesting? So I decided to make its innards a field instead of a hand. Yeah, because in Brazil, we call cucumber pepino, and food is pé. So, pepino, pé, pepino. It's a really goofy plan, but I guess it could work. Well, meet this little guy. I wasn't sure how to call it, Yukukumbu or Pikumuku. I will let you decide in the comments. It is grass water type, because I think that fits well. And how will I make the foot law to match with it? Well, my idea was to make this inner foot a way to walk. How original. And to play football, to match the Brazilian stereotype. Aren't we? So, the shiny has pickle colors, really subtle. My bad, shiny hunters, edible and healthy. I bet it could use in many salads. But now, what about the dessert? Ice cream Magnemite, or Jetimon and food Pokemon, the most hated Pokemon kinds together. This idea I just had because I thought that its shape would fit a lot to an ice cream ball and the magnets into waffle cones. I've put the waffle tube as the nail and some sprinkles on its body nails. They'll be simple and kinda dark. Here is our ice creamite. self-explanatory name. It's an icy fairy type since it's so sweet. Yum yum. Yum yum, looks tasty. Just be careful to don't eat it so much cause it can give you brain freeze. And yeah, it's like a flame body but with freeze instead. It has this vanilla flavor with chocolate eye, but the shiny became a juicy strawberry flavor. And guess what it evolves? Well, I'm an idiot and forgot to auto-record speed paint in my Twitch Studio Paint. To be honest, I guess you guys wouldn't care, so I just take a stack of ice creamite called faekmon. It has the three Neapolitan ice cream flavors, vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry, and it tastes syrup on the top. The shiny just change a bit the order of the flavors, and there is super rare, eventually form with my flavor. My favorite flavor, by the way. And for the magnet zone, I just made it have that wide cone with a monstrous shape to match its magnet zone shape. And look how the heads are basically that King Ghidorah mini with the silly one. The magnet became two ice cream scoops together that can throw some ice cream balls from its own body. Here is our ice cream cone. Yeah, I couldn't resist to put cone on the name. Oh, and if you wonder, it is really edible and thankfully can regenerate its ice cream. Just it's more expensive and more aggressive, unlike its pre-evolution. The shiny has the flavor swapped too. Did you like it? Next one was also a member idea, actually a mix of both ideas they gave me. I wanted to make a Sableye addicted to sugar, with candies on the body to substitute the gems, and holding a marshmallow instead of the gem in Mega Sableye. Also, I want to make a reference to Hansel and Gretel Witch House, and not gonna lie, I think the design was not so good as it deserved. So if you have suggestions to improve it, feel free to tell me in the comments, okay? Here is our Fabuleye, Fable and Sableye. It is Ghost Fairy type to match the candy thing in the fable of Hansel and Gretel. It probably would have an ability called Sugar Rush, that instead of taking damage from Fairy type, it raises its speed, like a motor drive. Well, it can also spread candies to make a path to either attract pesky kids to capture and transform them into candies, or to remember its own way too if it gets lost. I want to remake it and to give it an evolution, but I don't know how exactly, so I'm accepting suggestions and it would be crazy of course. The shiny just has the original colors. Did you like it? Next, a member requested I make a quillfish inspired by a porcupine. It's something I had to try since it fits quillfish spikes in shape perfectly. The design is pretty much a porcupine with pig-like nose because porcupines are sometimes called quill pigs. In Brazil, we call them porco-espinho, literally quill pig. And yeah, your pronunciation and grammar aren't perfect. That's because I'm not a native English speaker. I'm Brazilian. FB study pronunciation with a now YouTube channel, but please be patient. I think my designs can be funny enough to worthy our tolerance with my mistakes. Also, I put subtitles. But anyway, just don't need to be rude, bruh. I even played the adult podcast to enhance my audio quality, but might distort some words sometimes. But anyway, I still guess it's better than without it. Sorry for the event, I just want to say this thing cause I know my voice is a problem to around 40% of my viewers. Because I don't have much to say about the design process of this quillfish porcupine, it is just literal. But anyway, here is the quillfish porcupine, but honestly, I thought the design was still dull and not really interesting. So I remade it from scratch in a better dynamic pose. Much better, right? The name quill pig fits so well, swapping fish for pig. It's now grass steel type because I think it matches with the design, giving off fallacy vibes. It's not the smartest creature, it has literally no thoughts on its head. Note how the tail resembles a razor claw, adding a pinch-like detail. For the shiny, I think keeping the original pink would work great for this dummy. This time, the appling, which became one of their favorites. My idea was to make an egg appling with some details from birds and other dinosaurs. Also, I just know that appling's eyes reminds me a lot of bunny ear shape. And since Easter is coming, why not in a bunny too? But its actual eyes are these two dots. Small boy. check out our egging. It's funny how it could be like age around.
This shimmy egging, they hating.
Okay, just a few. I just went too far and lost my attention. Let's hear its cry. I've taught myself to create this cry. Anyway, it is normal dragon type, thus it's what I think could match more with the egg thing. Probably it would be very rare in Unova too, because of its government actions. Oh dear. But if you wonder how it looks inside, it will be a mystery too. The shiny is just a red egg, with a reddish body too. There is a golden egg, exclusive for events too. Faekmon. The recipe for fried again, you should just to break and hot spot, add some salt, and it became the fried dinosaur. Actually, I gave up the dinosaur idea because honestly, I found design a piece of shit. But again, I intended to make it more literal, using my egg fakemon as reference, as well the G-Max Appleton or Flapple, and of course, Hydrapple especially. The bunny ears are still here, as well the silly teeth, and yeah, I've tried to make a very colorful sweet painting for it. Credits for Alagonusa for sharing some tips. In a way, here is our melt egg, a combination of melted and egg. I did this cry too, with my voice. It hit the type, it has the soft yolk, like some chef like, but don't eat it, do not get burned. Well, it's shiny, it's just more yellowish, cause I didn't have a bad idea. And since we are close to the Easter season, why not an Easter egg? It would be the equivalent of dipping. So my idea was to make two of them together and finally revealing its face, a mix of bunny and bird, with some spots that resemble a beak. Sweet, right? Anyway, I just made it those colorful Easter eggs and probably inside this chocolate. Here is our egg stuff, a pay with Easter egg. Oh, I want to make inside the egg to be like those toys that we get in some Easter eggs, you know? So some people often as gift. And one of the dragons, Heidi can have a special color. He can find some fruits that they gather. Anyway, I don't know if I give it an evolution, cause I don't know how it will be interesting as an evolution, but I have big plans for egg and the other kinds of food made with eggs. Wait for the future videos. I want to make it also some special for the golden egg in the future. Shiny is reddish too, with the other panels for the painting, and you can evolve your golden egg into the golden egg stuff. Next is a very controversial idea. Check it out. A subscriber had an idea to make a Zodiac, a Pokemon related to the Zodiac. Of course, but I had to adapt a little bit. Zodiac sounds too similar to Love Disc, don't you think? What if we make a Love Disc convergent or something? That could work. Look how I just made a love disc, but inspired by that fish, voice acted by Will Dafoe in Finding Nemo, and also stars, which makes the astrology constellation. So makes sense, but this is not the main point of the design. Wait for it. Meet Zodiac, which is now monopsychic type, since it's related to the cosmic and stars, as we can see in the Lunatone, Psychic Gems, and Adult. But you might think, okay, a glowing love disc with a star shape, who gives a fuck? But with this ability, starbound, it makes the Zodiac to join other Zodiac to form a constellation next to it after it hits on the field. So it can switch out or use Protect, and will activate the form forever. And since astrology says that the sign will represent the personality, each sign will have their specific natures. And before we see them, check the shiny version, which is basically golden. Okay, let's see the signs. I chose only one per element that we have in Zodiac: Earth, Fire, Water, and Wind. So we don't need to make all 12 signs. I decided to only choose one per element to represent them. I might say something wrong, since I don't believe in astrology. It's just a pseudoscience, so not my business. And just to mention, I got this idea with the member Prowl, who suggested to make him the murmuration of birds, which is an incredible phenomenon. But with the stars. But let's start with the Earth one I chose, the Taurus. For design, I tried to make a literal constellation with the Zodiac formation. See how they are making the literal constellation? And when they are together, they will create an aura mystic spirit. In this case, the bull with some cosmic horns and plates on the backs. Pretty simple, just the bull with constellation inside. And here is Zodiac Taurus, with psychic ground type and more defensive. As I said, I don't understand anything from astrologists, but some natures that could form this one are maybe impish, brave, and relaxed, and the stars are more physically defensive. Because of this, note it has some glassy dark body similar to Mother Beast elusive me for no reason. And the aura is green since I thought it would match with the earth element. Look at the little Zodiac besides. Unfortunately, I think the glass body didn't work so well as I expected, but anyway, I had to keep it. The shiny will have the golden aura to match the regular form, just like the other ones will have too. Next is the fine one, the Zodiac Leo. It's pretty simple, a literal lion, but I decided to chat first to make it inspired by the Beta Porygon 2 made by Dr. Lava. But nah, I eventually gave up into a more imposing lion shape. It was too silly, which is not a problem, but in this case, I think didn't fit so well. Behold, the Zodiac Leo. It has obviously Psychic fire type and become more offensive, since its natures are adamant, jolly, and naughty. I don't know if it's accurate, my phone's currently telling the astrology section of teenagers magazines, but now it is much more imposing than before, right? The patterns keeps the same, but let's be honest, the lion mane looks the best of all of them in my opinion. And it is golden as well, which reminds me a lion from Musuno, an obscure anime, it was made to sell toys like Bakugan. I guess I'm the only one that remembers this series. But yeah, next is the water one, and I chose Pisces, which is by the way, my sign. Even though I wanted to have the tiger sign. Oh, it's the Chinese zodiac. Never mind. Well, I would choose Aquarius instead, but for some weird reason. It is not water, it is wind. Weird. Oh, inspired by Jeff. The killer? No, Jeff the shark. The cute boy. But I've tried to make the astral spirit not so friendly though. And why the shark? Well, cause we have a Beyblade of Pisces that is a shark and looks cool. So, it makes sense. And now the Zodiac Pisces. It is Psychic water type, a powerful special attacker with the natures modest, gentle, and timid. To be honest, not my favorite design. I still think the dark glass body didn't work so well as I thought at first. And the shiny is golden, but still cool, which resembles even more the Thermal Pisces Beyblade. And finally, the wind element. This one was tricky, since none of them was obvious, and none of them are related to animals, they are just things. So I chose one that I thought that could open more possibilities, Gemini. I think duality could work well creatively, and I found that deer is the animal spirit of it, and don't ask me why. I decided to try something crazy, like King Ghidorah, with 2 deer heads instead, with some Wendigo vibes, because why not? The aura would be the horns and wings, since I think it would match more. Finally, the Zodiac Gemini. It's Psychic flying type, even though I know it would match more with a dragon type. But I stay with flying to match the original element, and maybe if I decide to make the other zodiac signs. And the natures could be naive, hasty, and mild. Well, the shiny follows the same pattern as others, and we did it. And the idea I had when I read you guys' suggestion, but not in particular, was to make a Clumper Convergent that can transform in its evolution, but it's actually a single-stage Pokemon. Confusing? Okay, let me explain. We have Poltergeist and Sinistra that are the inverse of Sinistea and Poltergeist. So why can't we expand the converged possibilities? My idea was to make a carnivorous plant Clumper instead of a Noista. The pearl is actually nectar, so the predators will be very attracted to it. But the tricky part is that we will close the plant mouth and change its form depending on the opponent's stats. But let's break it down. This is Trappearl, a grass-type Pokemon with the same stats as Clumper. It's hard and weak, but don't worry, its ability is called Counter Trap. When Trappearl gets hit by another Pokemon for the first time, instead of losing HP, it will become Hunter form or Abyss form. Before showing these forms, take a look at its shiny. Okay, now let's see. Well, you can see that it's just a carnivorous plant mouth open, showing up the plant monster inside, made of bulbs or something. Note how I adapted Huntail shell shapes into leaves and put a little nectar Trappearl in its head, controlling it. Because yeah, guys are fake and it's just controlled by the Trappearl. Even though, as I said, it's not an evolution, it's just a form. Which by the way, it's done the Hunter form. Is more physically oriented like a Huntail, since its form is activated if the opponent has less defense, similar to Download, and the shiny version is yellowish as well. But for the other form, the Trappearl base is the same, an open mouth with a tongue or something is the Gory base made of plants too. Note that the shell bra become leaves bra, as well the spikes in the backs just to be some blank. And ta-da! Meet the Abyss form. Well, to be part of the Hunter form, it is specially oriented, becoming this form when the special side is the weakest of the opposing Pokemon. The shiny is just the same, yellowish. What do you think of this line? This next suggestion is for a Drowsy, inspired by bees from a bee movie. That kind are so chunky that can fly. I think it's funny, even though I don't like Drowsy design. I start with simple round shape to give a goofy look. That show it doesn't care about being chunky or unable to fly at all. Instead, it uses restricted powers to levitate. I imagine it could have a skinnier variant that can fly, and then wouldn't need the psychic powers for that. And here is Drowbee. I updated the member suggestions slightly, changing Z for B for a silly name. It's buggy psychic type in this chunky version, and by the face, you can tell it would rather use this psychic power to gather honey than do the work itself. Not gonna lie, I'll do the same. Its chinny wings flap around, struggling to resist its weight. The shiny version is pink like the original because I think it's cute. What about you? The grass-type Typhlosion is a little special because it's based on a fusion that I made during my Pokemon Infinite Fusion Nuzlocke before all the shitstorm happens with this fun game. Anyway, the main point of the line I've made was to make a fusion between Cyndaquil line and Cottonee line. But I think for this one, I felt I should rework it into something else. Maybe a Convergent now? I want to bring something audible, you know? Something friendly and sassy, as all the grass type have. I said to keep the cotton vibes, adding a dandelion. If it has lion in the name, why not the lion man too? And to a personal touch, I've made it extra chunky. But I guess it didn't work so well. Thankfully, my bro Lux and Phoebus gave me a hand. I've remade some details, but changed even more to show the sassiness of this squirrely boy. This is how it looks in the end. Typhluffy, a combination from what you can expect of a Typhlosion and Fluffy. I think pure girls type can work for it. Just don't be under whimsicott if I give fairy type. But one cool thing is that Typhluffy can spread cotton as a spores, like a dandelion, but with the cotton naturally. So it means it can be naked, like the awful 3D model. I would be crazy if I didn't give it fluffy and cotton down ability, am I right? I don't know. I just don't know if I should make it grass tortoise of a type swap variant of Johto's tortoise. Who knows? But look, Ishan is pink with yellowish cotton. I personally think it's fine. What about you? Feeling better about it, Cyndaquil?
Cyndaquil.
Wise words, my friend. Wise words. But next would be water-type Typhlosion, just to finish the water grass fire trio. Of course, I would be crazy if I don't do it. This time, it's just Nota, so I took some inspiration from Samurott, which by the way, I fucking love it. And I have no damn idea why people hated its design on 4. If people complained about it, about since they roar. In protest of these haters, I've made my other Typhlosion quadruped too. Deal with it. I'm just kidding, but what's more, let's be honest, I gave it some dragon details, including mane and tail made of floating water, just because I thought this water shape made it very draconic shape, maybe because I added some salamander inspirations too. I don't know if I'm tripping, but that's what I thought immediately, and I went for it. And I couldn't resist to give a juicy and sexy sharky gills for it. Tell me, it made a huge difference, right? Speaking of difference, I've changed the pose to something more dynamic and impactful, like if you was chasing something, sneaky style, and some slightly changes, but naming real worth it, which is da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum, Typhlosion. A powerful water dragon type. You might think, okay, you got insane, Faye, why is this crap special? Calm down. The name is a combination of Typhlosion, of course, float, water, and water, but in a very heavy British accent. Water. Got it? Maybe it's not impressive at all, and my gift mind just got over too hyped for nothing. Anyway, the thing is that Typhlosion is a great swimmer. It can manipulate the water crest and tail to speed up in waters. And since it has both nostrils and gills, it's a truly amphibian. Just to mention, its shiny has this reddish color, because I had no bad idea. And it's color of the original shiny. Next is a juicy amalgam of plenty of ideas. I use a meme idea to make a fuzz smoke cloak, which the subscriber that just like me love ghost types, and this one that mentioned the yokai Muhina that inspired that weird story leaked about Typhlosion. Sounds promising, and just to mention, members have priority in their ideas, so I chose it. With $1, you can have more chances to have your idea made as well, watch exclusive videos, and help the channel to keep alive. Know that thanks to you that my boys can have fun together. Anyway, a big special thanks to mythical members Toy Bunny, Brow, and Christopher Takino, and special thanks to all the members so far. But enough yapping, I started to wink a little further on the idea, as I remember about the yokai Amaterasu or Kitsuri. A fox shape can fit perfectly with it. Also, I made a sassy pose cause I like sassy Pokémon. Like it's queer councing Typhlosion Hisui. And it's much more simpler now. It's like a literal Typhlosion, but slightly wavier, curvy, army shape that flows with the smoke in its tail, neck, and hands, which can make it float. The major change is stylish eye and the spire fur, but honestly, I think it was too similar and was too late to remake. Well, this is our Typhoon, a combination of Typhlosion and Fumy from Smoke. It is ghost poison type as requested. I can create illusions with the smoke, covering itself fully on the smoke or using it as a scream. The more you breathe the smoke in the air, deeper its acid and smoked cherry smell can make you hallucinate and trust in Typhoon intentions. That's why we make the propaganda. Do not smoke, kids. Do not smoke, kids. Stay. The fuck. Do not smoke, kids. Stay away from it. Even if the smoke smells good. Got what I mean, right? Anyway, in my desperate attempt to make it look more different, I've made an alternate version with lighter colors. But I don't know. But you think it's better? Oh, and the shine is magenta, following the original pattern. It looks fine. This one is another idea from Subscribe, actually an adaptation of it. Why not make the Typhlosion even furrier? I mean, with more fur. I'm not talking about furry, just the fur coat. Okay, I also designed before I mess up. Anyway, I made a very chunky and bread-shaped Typhlosion, inspired by those Arctic fox, and Weasel mentioned the idea. And also those palace cat with huge fur. I guess it could make the loafest loaf. Oh yeah, it has got this huge fur covering parts of its body, with the hands together to keep itself warm. Eyes made it with a cold expression and closed eyes, like Cyndaquil. I thought it would be funny to get the eyes closed again, like if you were sleeping or really comfy with its own fur. Also, I made this snow mist to substitute the flare, and also I don't know if you get it, but I'm inspired by that creepypasta of Pokemon Silver that Ethan's Typhlosion got frozen in the mountain. So maybe he didn't die, just adapted to get a fur coat. Good ending, yay! Okay, alright, make this Typhlo. Pure ice type, maybe ice fairy? Okay, I gotta admit I got out of ideas for this one. I mixed up flow, snow, and low temperature. But I don't know, I didn't think it didn't sound good in my opinion. The design itself didn't end as cute as I thought. It just looks weird and not friendly at all. I've tried to fix the colors, but maybe I'm still far from good. I don't know what went so bad. But anyway, note that it's not actually so chunky. It's just its coat that is so thick. But as I said, this is just a coat. So give this boy a full coat ability. Maybe I will remake this. If I do, I will be showing it right now. Just like the shiny colors of it. Actually, if I didn't cut this part in the edit, I really remade it anyway. Otherwise I would look like crazy talking to the walls. Whatever, fam. Ready for another one, Cinda? Alright, so this one was another chimera of ideas. First was this member idea to make a Typhlosion with fireworks, which fits perfectly. And also this other idea to make like a cloud storm. Why not to fuse both? I think it's fine to do it. And I made it in a very aggressive pose since, you know, it fits with the explosive temperament of it. Just like the thunderous personality. Got it? Anyway, the lining on the cloud is kind of firework. It was the best way I thought to conciliate it. And maybe it could change the color and burst some sparkles when it's too angry. One more detail is, even with the spiky fur to match with the lining, it also has some tiger markings, just to match with the electric vibes. Something like a Raikou. And I'm much more satisfied with it than the previous one. Well, the final result is this. Typhlosion would still fit perfectly, but honestly, I couldn't resist to call it Typhonda. Fire electric type is mandatory to it. I don't even need to explain, and not gonna lie, this became my favorite design of this video. Its law could be something like it creates storms along with eruptions, since volcanoes spread smoke clouds that are really energized, and that's why we see lightnings around it. Also, since I'm floating this volcano Pokemon, this fits a lot. Also, it can charge up to enhance its speed, almost becoming embodied lightning. And the cherry on the top is the shiny with Typhlosion colors. Jeffil looks so fine. What about you? Well, I want to make it Clodsire Convergent since I have plans for a wallpaper evolution for every time next year. I got the idea to make a nice dark Clodsire. It would be goofy enough just being a Clodsire relative because, Clodsire is just a teenage boy. But it wouldn't work. It's more like a original variant than a true conversion form. And maybe it's still too vague. I'd try something else with a similar shape to Clodsire to make it work. My idea was to make a snowman, since we are in the winter season, where most of you live. Yeah, not in Brazil, we are in super hot summer. Anyway, since it's literally made of snow, I could make it inspired by an animal that lives in the snow, like polar bears. It would fit in our boy shape. Note that its nose and tail have coal or stones, like people use to decorate snowmen, and the horns are actually carrots. Not gonna lie, I like this concept a lot, even with a couple different poses for it since the main one I called them wasn't my favorite. And ta-da! Here is our Clodsire. Yeah, I just rearranged the letters. Clodsire, Clodsire. Gosh, I love this name! I couldn't think anything better. Show your powerful cry, my boy. It's just nice type, one of my favorite types. But unfortunately, it is so bad defensively. As you can see, its body is entirely made of snow. Notice the irregular lines. It might mean it can melt a little, but never fully. Something similar to permafrost. It's shiny just purple, like the other ice types. I couldn't think anything better for a snow creature. But honestly, I'm very happy with this design, seriously. To continue the holiday vibe, check out this other idea I had. Since I'm publishing this video close to the Christmas, maybe a little late, but still worth it, also it seems like a perfect fit for Christmas spirit. My idea was to make a gingerbread mouthhold, those cookie men like in Shrek. I also made it inspired by Santa. You smile when you realize its name, can you guess it? Anyway, the parent mouthhold is now Santa Claus, while the babies are the elves. See how they're carrying cookies and candies, except for this little dude they made, who is desperate because his cookie tree head broke. So yeah, be careful, they can break since they're made of cookies. Ho ho ho, were you a good boy? Because Clodsire is ready to send you some gifts. Yeah, I told you the name was worth it. I had the idea when I realized Mouse sounds like Klaus, which is Santa Let's name, I guess. Just to mention, my bro Lazy Arcade had an idea to call it Mouse Ho Ho Ho. And she's so funny, in the fairy ground type just to match with the vibe and aesthetic. And remember when I requested if you were a good boy? Because it's a special move called Present Bomb. This move has 50 base power, but it gets an extra 50 BP for every direct attack the target made against other Pokemon. As punishment for being naughty, it gets cold. If it didn't hit anything, it heals the target's status condition as a gift, but it still does damage, since the gift falls off the heads. The shiny version wears green clothes, to reference a weird Brazilian soda that has a bizarre green Santa. My Brazilian viewers will recognize the mighty Dolinho. Yeah, Brazil is something else, bros. And if you watch this far, comment my French Dolinho. Next up is an idea for a subscriber who requested a Hitmo convergence inspired by weevils. I've got to say, they had a similar shape. I never noticed that. And when I did, I love it. If you don't know, weevils are possibly the goofiest insects ever. To match their silliness, I've tried to find the silliest pose to make it look like a goofy gooba, like someone hits design an immediate think. Wow, this dude's so silly. Bro just got too silly, then go to the jail. I wasn't sure whether to give it armor or what kind of weevil to base it on. My Scott server had some great suggestions. Oh, if you notice, the pipes Hitmo usually has are now little arms, like real-life weevils. The final result looks like this. The name, of course, it's Hitmo. Because of its metallic shading, I accidentally gave it, since Bugs also has shiny armor, but I messed it up. I tried to give it Bug Steel type. Funny enough, it has exactly the same type as Hitmo's praise, Durant, but this one is too big for Hitler tweak, and its mate defense mechanism is just being silly. It's not very effective, but it's all Whitmore knows how to do. Its shine is bluish, like the Weevil Logan sent in the chat. I think Cyan works well, don't you agree? Do you prefer Whitmore or Durant? If think of Durant, check out this video where I create new evolution methods and give Durant a new evolution to protect itself from Hitmo, just like he made many other new evolutions. That's it. Bye bye, Huggies.